America. Flag's still flying, everything's still good. Well, there's lots of things flying. There's stuff flying in from outer space trying to hit my truck. You know, it gets difficult. I don't know, man, I think made this thing live here. Live, not just live on live. I think I made it public. I don't even know. Sometimes I miss that. That's okay. We're going to go forward anyway. I will give some time for some people to get into the room just in case they showing up, but this actually happened. Had I been there, oh, there's some people in the room. Hello, welcome. God bless you. Come on in. You know, had I left earlier, I'd be dead. This thing was flying low. It was the size of my 18-wheeler tractor plus about another size of my cab worth of my trailer. So about a quarter, you know, of my trailer. That's how big this thing was. It was bigger than Chelyabinsk. I've always said, you know, when I started trucking, there was no cell phones. We didn't have cell phones, okay? This guy's fixing to be famous, I think. Oh, he even waved and he didn't get on camera. Anyways, so we didn't have cell phones, and we basically, there wasn't like a whole big camera thing going on, you know, a whole lot of any kind of, I mean, yeah, they had the Zapruder film even back when Kennedy was, you know, assassinated, and so people who had money and had these kind of cameras and stuff, but and we had the thing called, like, you know, Sony made a handy cam, but if you're driving a truck, unless you're just really into videography, you didn't carry one around. You didn't do that type of thing. Nowadays, anybody can take time and do, like, I'm just doing this little video while I'm getting unloaded, you know, but I got another one coming. Oh, it's gonna be a whole nother one. This is just a little precursor to a couple of videos I'm gonna be dropping. I'm gonna give you some inside scoops on what I've been working on. So anyways, so here's the thing. So even in this age, and as many dash cams as I had one up here that wasn't hooked up. I had my camera that wasn't rolling off my phone or nothing like that, and even the GPS thing I dropped down, I think it's got a camera in. Nothing was going on except for the main one in the center, and I'm really hopeful, but I believe it did, because I know it triggered an event when I hit the button. I'm hopeful I can get my hands on that video. I'm like dying to get my hands on the video. So in the meantime, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Man, no kidding, people. It was scary, because here's why. When anything comes in from outer space, even if it's low Earth orbit, it could be, okay, if it was a meteorite or a meteor, but a meteorite, it could break into several pieces. And then it's like a shotgun blast, and you don't know where all the pieces are going to land. This thing, when it was in front of me, made me think of two things. Either it could explode in front of me, and the shock wave, just like in Russia, the shock wave of that blast could blow my windshield out. So I was like thinking at some point I was going to have to maybe pull over, stop, and get down on the floorboard and hope for the best. Then the other part of it is, mainly what I was thinking was, since it was moving, I'm traveling north on that 287 highway, I believe it is. I was traveling north, and it was moving from my right, from the east, to the left, the west, horizontally in Colorado, which seems to be where I always see any type of falling debris, and I could tell what's what, because green burns copper. Copper burns green. I mean, so if you see green, it's probably copper. But I've been told today, oh, there's green meteorites. They would burn the whole way through the same color. I'm sure of it. This was different. So, okay. I'm a little scatterbrained here myself. I'm trying to get this together. So it was moving from my right to my left, I'm traveling north, and what I was thinking at the time was, first thing I thought was, ooh, if the thing blows up, the shockwave's going to knock out my windshield. I better be able to stop and get down. The other thing is, I was more concerned with more pieces of it coming from my right and maybe hitting me. Like if it had pieces trailing behind, like the Shoemaker-Levy Comet. And so I was worried. I'm not going. I didn't feel fear, but I should have. You know. But I was in so much amazement of it and awe of it, and it was beautiful. It was something else. It burned it, and we're talking before any type of sunlight. There was no houses around where I was, but there was some to the west, but there was no light pollution. Okay, nowhere near me. And it's similar to what I've told people about when you go to the rest area on the way to Colorado from Kansas. When you get into Colorado, you know, you're coming into Denver, I mean, and there's no light pollution. You're elevated a mile high, 5,000 something feet. You can see all the clusters and galaxies and the worlds. It's beautiful at night. There's no light pollution. This being in front of me, we're talking less than a quarter of a mile. It was huge, bigger than the one in Chelyabinsk, bigger than my tractor. I'm talking about the mass of it. I believe that I know what it is. I had a feeling about it, but I believe I know what it is. I believe it was a satellite. But, I mean, like the whole satellite, not just pieces of something. Which is, it seems kind of funny to me. I was thinking about it, you know, I had planned on getting, you know, the Space Link, Starlink, whatever satellite thing, but I didn't expect them to send it to me out of the sky, right? So it's like, okay, the delivery system for Starlink has gotten a little bit crazy, if that's what that was. But no, I think it was a regular older satellite that maybe got hit with something, because they're blowing all this stuff up, making debris. But honestly, I don't know. And I'm going to look at the video again. I'm going to look at it myself. I haven't seen it yet. I'm saying I've got to get it. But so I hit the button. It triggered an event, so it would record, and it's there. It's just got to be gotten. So anyway, so what do you do in this type of a situation when you see a massive fireball burning in the sky from right to left, and you're like, okay, who do I tell about this? Well, I didn't want to tie up the 911 system. I never want to call them. Even for, you know, for a driver that's broke down, that's whatever, that you see it might be an accident, you want to go and call him. He may need rescuing. He might need help. Might have had a heart attack. Who knows? But for this kind of situation, I was like, well, who do I notify? Right? So I got in touch with, I don't want to name that agency, but I got in touch with a government agency. And they gave me all this information, okay? So keep in mind, we have tracking systems in our government, and they track things all the time. And I was like, okay, surely they'll know who to get in touch with. So I'm going to put this in the comment section. I'll make a comment, and I'll type all this stuff in, of who you would contact if you saw aerial phenomenon. So, because I even mentioned, I was like, well, I guess technically it's a UFO, right? It's an unidentified flying object. And so I was told, well, they actually term it as unidentified aerial phenomenon, U.A.P. All right. So, and they were helpful. They were really helpful. The captain I talked to that was on duty explained to me, because I don't know, you know, what do? You see something from space, either meteor. I didn't want to put even a video out of it, or even talk about it if it was something classified, maybe something that they had blown out of space, or something they had, you know, used as target practice or something, and figured that was a remote enough area. But I happened to be traveling through there, and so it was at 6:47 Central. That'd been 5:47 Mountain Time. So 5:47 local time, Mountain Time, Colorado. This was near Lamar, Lamar, Colorado, where it hit the button. And so basically I'd say about 10 minutes before that, on the loop is where it was on the video, and I have to find it, but I know for sure I'm going to get 30 minutes of it. So the captain on duty told me that I could contact the FAA for UAF, unidentified, or I'm sorry, U.A.P, I guess, unidentified aerial phenomenon, and they have within the FAA, it's a National UFO Reporting Center. So the way they work, though, they looked it up and couldn't give me a number, so it's some type of a fill this form out to contact us kind of thing. And I'm like, oh well, I don't have time for that right now, so I have to do that tonight or tomorrow. Try to do it tonight. But there's also amsmeteors.org, the American Meteor Society. That's what AMS stands for. So I'll get in touch with them, and they supposedly they have some videos up there of even some green meteors. It was not a solid burn of green. There was bursts of green because there was copper in it. So I already know what's going on with that. And the director of it is, or their email is director@ufocenter.com. That's another one. And then there's U.S. Space Command, spacecom.mil. So who knows what Space Force is doing? Don't know if I need to tell them, but somebody lost something. I'm saying it was big. It was on fire. It lit up the night sky, and it's going to be a phenomenal video. And please understand that I don't know how to do CGI or any of that computer generated graphics kind of craziness they do in movies. CG, whatever. I can't do that. I'm just a truck driver. So what you see on the video will be absolute raw footage from the video. I can't, if I edit it, I can stop and stuff like that. You know, you can't make this stuff up, and I don't know how to fake it. So what you will see is what I saw. Hopefully it will pick it up well, and you'll see the bursts of green. Because it was nighttime, my windshield was clean. I mean, you can't really beat that. So all of the conditions were perfect for videoing, and it came and it lingered so long. The speed of this thing was slow. Like I said, it was almost like it just freaking hovered. It was not under flight control. I'm saying from right to left, it took forever to get from right to left, and it was huge, and it was on fire the whole time. So whatever they're missing, somebody's going to call in. It's in their backyard in Colorado. So when they do, I told them too. I said, hey, when somebody calls this in, hey, can you come and get something that fell out of space out of my backyard? That's real, because I saw it flying. And I saw it come out of space, come into the atmosphere, and it did not have enough velocity to skip back out. So it's here, it's among us. Whatever's on it, I hope it's not one of those you know, you see those movies where something lands even though it's on fire and something living comes out of it. Hopefully we're not dealing with a predator, or what's that other movie? I don't know. We need Danny Glover's got to take care of this one. That thing was big though. It was really big. And it wasn't just the fireball that was big, the whole thing was big. So wherever it hit, it didn't explode when it hit. It probably put it out where it hit. It's not something that was coming in so fast that it got hot, like a meteor or meteorite. It was simply that the friction caused the material that was flammable to burn, and that was it. So there will be video forthcoming. So be looking for that. I'll put it up as soon as I can. First, I called though, and I got in touch with, like I said, some government agencies and stuff. Hey, listen, I'm not trying to put anything up, you know, on the internet that might be against national security or anything like that. Don't want to cause no trouble, because I'm not the kind of person. I don't walk around filming freaking, you know, anybody or police officers and stupidness or whatever, and just trying to cause general, you know, havoc. I just want to, if I see something, I say something. So I'm saying something. So yeah, I saw a UFO, technically. but it was not any type of a craft that someone would fly in. This was a satellite, guaranteed all day long. I'll bet $100 that's not in my pocket that was a satellite. So anybody wants to beat me up on this or debunk it, anything, I guarantee you that video, you'd be like, there's no way. Now, I've always said, I wish that, back to the thing about not having cameras, I've always said, man, I've seen so many things in Colorado flying across the sky. I can tell when it's a meteor. I can tell when it's, or a meteorite. I can tell when it's space junk because of the copper content and how it burns and what it looks like. Some of them's blue and this and that. I don't even care now. I don't even, I wished, like, I might still look back later and say, man, I wish I would have had that couple of those that were on, you know, that I saw while I was driving. I wish I would have got them on video before we had cameras and stuff. But now, this puts it all to shame. This is bigger than Chelyabinsk. This is bigger than anything. I don't even care that I can't go back and record things I've seen falling out of space, because this takes the cake. This beats them all. It might be the greatest freaking video on the whole internet about anything. It could be, I'm not saying it's going to go viral. I don't know. I don't care about that. I never have. I've joked about it. It really might. It really might, because it's something to see. It's like huge. I mean, bigger than Chelyabinsk. But it was just a different type of material, so it wasn't going to come apart and blow apart like that and cause any kind of shockwave. So it just did what it did. It flew from right to left, horizontally, descending at a very slow rate. In other words, keeping altitude, but not fast enough to leave the Earth's atmosphere again. Like, it didn't skip in and out. I've seen those. Oh, I've seen them. I've seen them go straight through our atmosphere and straight back out again. Usually those are smaller little fireball specks, and they're fast. This was not. And it takes a lot of speed to leave our atmosphere. It was going so freaking slow. That thing was like the Volkswagen or the Yugo or whatever. This thing was the go-kart of flying vehicles, if you call it that. But I don't think it was meant to be on fire. I think it was just meant to telecommunicate. And they keep popping off things in space. Russia just blew one up not too long ago that it can cause little specks of metal and shards of things and blow into a million pieces, and then it can destroy our satellites. So really, they're junking it up there. China blew up one, Russia blew up one. There's no reason for that, but they're doing it just to cause havoc and trouble. And so I hope that the Starlink system that Elon Musk is putting up, I hope it's not too affected. I hope it was a cheap satellite or an old satellite. I get the feeling it's probably old. You know, I don't know that it was knocked out of orbit or just ran out of the ability, because see, we don't have the space shuttle anymore to push them up higher. The space shuttle used to be able to push them up into a higher low Earth orbit, and then they fall, but they fall slowly. So every so many years you have to push them back up, or they'll be taken in by Earth's gravity and be destroyed. Well, some of them, when they go bad, they just let them burn up in the atmosphere. This thing was big, though. I mean, this thing was big. So I don't know how they're building them. If they're supposed to disintegrate, they need to do a little better job. This thing was big. So probably in the middle of somebody's farmer's field or backyard or something. Hopefully not hit anything worse than a mailbox, you know. People, heads up. Heads up for real. So I'm just getting unloaded, and I will be doing a live. I mean, this is a live, but I will be doing one that I had planned on doing. And so I'll give you a heads up on some of the stuff I'm going to be working on, so you can do your research and learn about it before you come on to the live, and you can say, oh, okay, now I'm knowledgeable about this live before I start listening to it, because I'm not trying to blindside people with some of this information. So I'll just tell you this. Basically, I've been keeping up with this story for a very long time, and Art Bell did a call-in show about DB Cooper. DB Cooper was basically a name that was made up because they were looking for a guy who was on a plane and had hijacked it. They were trying to figure out who he was. He had given his name as Dan Cooper. Dan Cooper was the name of a comic book hero person, whatever. And so he gave this name to get onto an airplane, and he got on there, and they were trying to figure out who he was. So they start looking in the phone book, and the reporters are trying to get a scoop on the situation. They're like, where are we going next? You know? And so the police officer says, I've got a DB Cooper. Let's go check him out. And so they sent a state patrolman to go and check him out. But when they heard that, they thought they had a scoop, and they ran the story and said that they're looking for a person of interest right now to find out more about him. The guy that's on the plane, they said his name was DB Cooper. It was not. So he was using the name Dan Cooper, like the comic book growth. So there are several suspects in that they've had over the years. The FBI has given up the case unless they say somebody can give them a parachute and a bunch of money showing what happened. But what the guy did was this. He got onto an airplane, and he had a suitcase that he said had a bomb in it. And he handed the lady a note and said, you need to read this note. And the note said he had a suitcase bomb, and that he was going to, if his demands weren't met, that he would do something bad. Well, she sat down next to him, and he opened up the suitcase and showed her something that looked like a bomb. So basically, he said his demands were that he wanted $200,000 in $20 bills, and he wanted 4 parachutes. So you can look up the story of DB Cooper. I'll tell more of that story in a different one, but they never caught him. It's the one hijacking that was never solved, and there was a mimic, and some people have tried to correlate the two, but there are differences of them. I'll get into all that. So basically, there were at least 2 DB Coopers. There was 2 too many, is what there was. But there's actually 6, of which 4 has very compelling evidence against him. So one of them, they tested the clip-on tie that he left behind, and it had trace amounts of a metal like titanium, and another one that was so rare then that he had to have worked in a certain area, and so they found somebody that matched that description, that had ex-military, full military experience. He had done jump school in Fort Benning. Seems like everybody they come up with, they were trying to find out who had done jump school before. So, and he also was wearing a disguise. He was wearing a toupee. Some people have said that even though he was smoking cigarettes, maybe he didn't smoke it, and there's that kind of thing. So this guy just basically asked for money, and he ordered, well, hold on a second here. Let me give him this paperwork too. Hey, I got your paperwork too. Oh, is it? Thank you. God bless, brother. So, all right, ready to go. How about that? So anyways, where was I at? So yeah, he demanded $200,000 in cash, and then he asked to refuel where he had stopped at, and said that he would let off the passengers if they would give him the money and the parachutes. And so he said he wanted to go to Mexico, and they said, well, we may have to refuel at some place. And he's like, well, refuel here. He's like, no, we can't make it that far, the pilot. And then so they talked about it, and he made demands that the pilot had to go to get off at the when he went to refuel the first time. The fuel truck had to be at a 45-degree angle so he could see where the fuel truck was at and what they were doing. All right. They take off again. They let off all the passengers after they handed them the money and the parachutes. He says, okay, I'll release the passengers. So they release the passengers, and then somewhere, they say, over this river, Columbia River area is what they think, he jumps out the back of the plane with the money and is never seen again. There was a second one. That guy was caught. His family is now claiming him to be the first, but the problem is there was too many discrepancies. They said that he didn't get the money, and well, lo and behold, someone else said that they had a story that this guy who was a drug dealer said, hey, get this, I'm DB Cooper, and tomorrow they're going to find some of my money right over there. Those people are going to be digging. It was a story. Okay, this family over here is going to be, and they, lo and behold, this family calls the police and says they've found some money. They recently did tests on it. It was only there for like 1 season, but they dug under it and found the older money that was the $50,000 that he dropped off in this place to make them think that he had died. So that was the first DB Cooper. There's all these DB Coopers because there was like 130 different hijackings within a 5-year period. About 24 of them were very much in the same style, where they asked for parachutes and this time thing. Everybody wanted to be DB Cooper. They didn't just want to read about it, they wanted to be him. And they're like, well, he could get away with it, I could get away with it. I believe the second guy was in jump school and all these things, and says, wait a second, I used to do that in Vietnam, and hey, I never made $200,000 for it, and he asked for $500,000. The second one asked for $500,000. There's a lot to that, so I'm going to get in. We're going to do a whole live, but go ahead and research DB Cooper, look up some stories, because that's what we'll be talking about, so that you'll have a heads up and you won't be blindsided of what my next live is going to be about. But if I get that video, the next one might be just that video and me showing it. So I will get so that I can get on my computer. It shows my screen, and it's going to be great. This is just a little live off the phone to tell what's going on, a little check-in, a little heads up. And things have gotten crazy. The sky is falling. The sky is actually falling. I'm not Chicken Little. I'm being honest. A piece almost hit me. So there's that. But I got a great video. I've just got to get it. You'll get it, and then you'll be like, there's no way. What are the odds that me and my truck, not only that I was there, but I should have left earlier, right? Let me tell you what happened, people. I wanted to make sure I showed a full brake and went over and above and said, okay, and I gave it another, what was it, 15 minutes, 20 minutes? If I'd have been that much further forward, it could have hit me. That's my angels looking out for me. I'm just being honest. That's how it works. It's always how it works. So evidently I have not completed my life's purpose, or it could have been time for me to go, So I hope it's not your time to go. I hope everybody's doing good, and I just wanted to put this out there. So I will be doing some lives on that type of thing, and it will be in a computer format, like an actual real YouTube channel, right? These kids are faster than me and better than me on the computers, and they have had the software. They can show their screen, they can go to different pages. I've been driving a truck, I work for a living. What can you do? If you work for a living, you can't be everything to all people. You can just be the best that you put your mind to. So I'm evolving, and my channel's going to get better because of the ability to use that laptop, but I have to set it up. And I haven't done my mic test yet. Maybe I can do a mic test tonight on it. But for right now, I'm going to get off this thing and I'm going to roll out of here. Just want to give a heads up, man. The sky's falling. Watch up. Look, keep your heads up and heads up. Man, it could be scary. You know, and I don't know what else is falling. I don't know how much more might come down. I would like to think that that was a single event, but it was big, bigger than Chelyabinsk. It's huge, and there's video. It's forthcoming. It's in the works. I got people working on it. So, and I got people working on a lot of other stuff too. There's gonna be some stuff. My channel's gonna get a little better, and the end result will be you will get better content. So I hope everybody's doing good. I'm gonna get off this thing. Watch for the live where you see something come in from outer space and try to take me out, and watch for the DB Cooper live. I'll give a heads up. I'll try to give I don't know, maybe an hour. I can't even post in community no more. They've shadow banned me. They don't like it that I come up with things that they might want to censor, and they don't want me to put it up on community. So how will I do it? Don't know. Maybe setting up a live. I set one up and didn't go live last time. Maybe I could set up that live, do that live test, change the date on it. But I got to go, people. God bless you. Hope nothing hits you or your mailbox, or anything in your yard. If it does hit your yard, I'll put links up to who you can contact to tell them to come and please remove it. Like, maybe I can find a contact for NASA too, or maybe JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratories. You know, it's somebody. How do you get junk removal for space junk? I don't know. Don't call the guy that's in your town to take it to the dump. They'll want their stuff back. So for that, you could call an emergency number. That's all I got. God bless you, people. I'm out. Peace.